Hello, welcome to Business Math Chapter 18 for Business Math called Accounting. This is lesson 18.10 called Cost of Goods Sold. As always, whenever I make these videos, I'll, give you the advice. Make sure you're reading through the chapter before jumping over to these worksheets. Look at the examples, pay attention to why you're doing certain calculations, not just what do I need to get through it, but what is happening? Why am I doing this? The more you understand about it, the more it's going to make sense as you move through the chapter. And even like at the bottom here, when we get to the algebra problem, the more you understand about why, the better you'll be able to complete these types of problems. So just, that's my big bit of advice for every one of these videos. Make sure you're reading the textbook. All right, so let's go ahead and read this introduction here. We have the balance sheet shows your total assets, total liabilities, and owner's equity at a given point in time. You also need to identify whether the company is operating at a profit or a loss. To determine if you are making money or losing money, you must know sales figures, expenses, and the cost of goods sold. The cost of goods sold is equal to the value of the beginning inventory plus the cost of any goods received or receipts minus the value of the ending inventory. Okay. So we're definitely starting to combine skills here because there's been quite a few. If we look back, we started with payroll and business expenses, and then we quickly moved into there's called a break-even analysis, which was talking about profit and loss. We did a lot of depreciation here for a little bit. We actually did that for quite a few sections. And then I believe there was an inventory section in here as well. So we're definitely starting to combine a lot of these skills in this section. So the formula they want us to use here is cost of goods sold equals beginning inventory plus receipts minus the ending inventory. So if we look at this very first table here, I'm just going to look at number 1, and then we'll kind of look down at one of the word problems here. So we are given some very basic information. We have the name, Wilson Sports, Garden Center, Auto Parks Inc., Beachwear. So we get the name of the company, not terribly important. But we are given the beginning inventory, the receipts, and the ending inventory. So we're given the 3 pieces we need to use this equation. So beginning, receipts, ending inventory. So if I just plug these straight in here, I'm going to go beginning inventory plus receipts, and then I'm going to subtract the ending inventory from that, and that'll tell me what the cost of goods sold was, which is, in this case, $292,282. So definitely kind of a basic calculation there. We're just using this straightforward formula here. Add the beginning inventory to the receipts, subtract the ending inventory. That tells us what the cost of goods sold was. All right. If we look down, let's see, which one do I want to focus on here? Because we have 2 problems, and then we're going to definitely look at the algebra problem. I'm going to go ahead and look at number 6 because it's a little bit more involved than number 5. So the computer repair shop started the quarter with an inventory valued at, so I'm going to underline that. So we have $85,668.55. During the quarter, it received 9 hard drives valued at $325.50 each, 5 video cards valued at $98.30. I can't draw straight lines right now. I don't like that so much. I'm covering up the words. Sorry. All right. And then valued at $89.35. We have 4 fans. So instead of doing all this underlining, because I think it's going to get a little overwhelming, I'm just going to go ahead and read. 4 fans valued at $58.60 each. 22 new laptops valued at $1,985.60 each. The ending inventory for the quarter was valued at $98,374.32. So we have an ending inventory and we have a beginning inventory started, right? That's the beginning inventory here. So we know our beginning and our end. That's 2 pieces we need. But we need to calculate all of our receipts here because we received all of these things. So it says during the quarter, it received, and then it goes through and gives you this list. So you're going to need to go through and do these calculations. So we had 9 hard drives valued at $325.50 each. So I'm going to need to know how much those were worth. and then 5 video cards valued at $89.35 each. So we need to do that calculation. And then we have 4 fans at $58.60 each. We have 22 laptops at $1,985, dollars and 60 cents. So we received these 4 items. I want to make sure I didn't miss any. No. So we received those 4 items. So we need to know the value of those 4 items total, meaning all the items inside of them. So it's not just 4 items, 4 different types of items, but we received quite a few different items. So then we have to add all of these together once we calculate this to get our total receipts. Now we can use this basic calculation. Beginning inventory, which is the $85,000, minus the receipts, which will be this amount here that you have to calculate, plus that amount that you have to calculate here, minus the ending inventory here of $98,000. So it's a little bit more involved in that one. You have to calculate all of those receipts. You still have to do that same type of thing on number 5, but they just give you the total amounts that you need to add together. They don't necessarily make you calculate it like this. So it's the same kind of idea. It's just kind of introducing it a little slower. All right, let's look at this algebra problem. And I'm going to get rid of some of this stuff here so it's out of my way. I just want that stuff out of my way. All right, so if the value of the ending inventory and the beginning inventory are equal, and the receipts are $7,000 less than twice the cost of goods sold, find the receipts. What can you conclude about the value of the ending inventory and the beginning inventory? So first, I like to kind of write this out. So 2 times cost of goods sold. And minus, okay. I want to make sure that I gave myself a bunch of notes here. So sorry, I'm reading through it real quick just to make sure I'm not jumping ahead too far. So one thing we want to note before I jump too far ahead on this one is that the beginning inventory and the ending inventory are the same. So because they are the same, they could be any amount as long as they're equal. It doesn't matter what they are. They're exactly the same, the beginning and the ending inventory. So really, what matters is this receipts here. The cost of goods sold is going to be the exact same as the receipts because that's the only difference. These two cancel each other out. And I know that sounds kind of funny if we think of that. So if we know that those two cancel each other out and the receipts are $7,000 less than twice the cost of goods sold, so this is minus $7,000 because we have 2 times the cost of goods sold minus $7,000. Well, if we know that the cost of goods sold and the receipts have to be the same, it's a little bit of a funny situation here because of the way they're wording this. So the cost of goods sold needs to be the same as the receipts. Like I said, it has to be the same because the beginning and the inventory are the same. So if I write this out, I'm going to actually show you what it looks like. 7,000 minus 7,000. And that needs to equal 7,000 because they have to be the same, the receipts and the cost of goods sold. So now I'm going to have 14,000 minus 7,000 equals 7,000. So this ends up balancing out to 14,000. Sorry, I did that funny. 7,000, because I'm subtracting these, equals 7,000. So, and I kind of plugged it in a little bit funny there because we want to know what would this need to be. So we would say, you know, instead of putting the 7,000, and you might not have seen that right away that it needs to be the 7,000. So you could have put this in as more of an X, or I guess R for receipts. Because the receipts are 2 um, times 7,000 minus 7,000, and I can go R. So I have 14,000 minus 7,000, which gives me 7,000. So it's kind of a little bit of a workaround there. I know it's a little bit of they're being a little tricky with their wording, but the main thing is that we know the cost of goods and the receipts have to be the exact same. They can't be different amounts because the beginning inventory and the end inventory are the same, and one should be positive, hopefully, if we have a healthy business, and then the ending inventory should also be positive, but hopefully a smaller amount or at least the same amount. In this case, it's the same amount. So we just cancel those two out. All right, so I know that was a little bit of a tricky one for number 7 there, but I hope that helped, and I will see you in section 11.